How you doing? How you doing? I hope everybody's having a good evening or had a good night, pretty much. This is Stacy with Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. Today's topic is a real live topic. And I'm not sure if I got a chance to be able to share all of this, but if you happen to catch me on Facebook, that's fine. But you could also catch me on Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. That's my YouTube channel. It's called Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. So let's get into it. So my question was, and still is the justice interfere to our youth and families, or have they overstepped in ways that undermine effective guidance? This is I post on Facebook that video because I was trying to kind of much connect it to this content. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I'm looking to, hear from somebody, but I'm going to speak how I feel. I feel as though, that, again, this is a serious topic that I would want people to come to, and so we can speak on it. But this is part one. Our justice system has, and I don't know what it's called in all other areas, but for here it's for the youth and families. It's probably called that in a lot of places. They have basically, in my opinion, have stripped away. And it started years ago. This didn't just start, but they have stripped away basically the authority from the adult. My concern about all of this is that we all should all be concerned and look around and see that there's a bigger problem. Without authority and guidance and rules and regulations. I'm gonna stop right there, because I do understand why there is rules and regulations applied and to the justice system, from the justice center to families and group homes and this and that. However, even in the group, because of the things that was happening, behind closed doors, but now that everything is exposed and different, our youth have gotten out of control. Now, with our youth out of control, because you don't want this, that, and the third to happen, and I get it, I truly do, but it's too much. Now we're not allowed to speak to them in a stern voice we're not allowed to do, they're allowed to do too much. They're allowed to hit, spit, cuss you out in your face, and we're not allowed to do anything about it. It's not, and I'm not just talking about the workplace, because I'm going to get on that. I'm speaking about, in general, how the Justice Center has just turned the whole population, the whole generation of youth, into what they want it to be. It looks like, and there's no control. And see, and this is that setup. There's no control, and it's nothing funny about it. It's nothing cute about it. There's nothing funny or cute about you not being able to control your own child, or and your child just follow the rules and regulations. Now, I understand, again, someone being abused, yes, and a household being abused, of course, but all rules should not apply to every single situation on jobs. How do you expect me, her, him, anybody to be able to effectively deal with a child or a youth. Whereas there is a lot of trauma in a lot of youth, and those things are being addressed. Those things, they have a lot of things in place for those things, but every youth is not traumatized. Not everyone. Everyone didn't have a terrible life and this, that, and the third, and then choose to, because of the environment, because of the world itself, because of the music, because of everything, that they then start doing whatever. Now we have babies with guns in their hands, thanks to the Justice Center. I'm sorry to say. Now, anybody can crucify me on it and say that I'm wrong or whatever have you, but I'm gonna tell you like this: I'm not. This is something that should have been going on a long time ago. Like we lost control a long time ago, and then it's more and more rules, more policies, more of this, more of that, and then where does the authority come in at? Where does the teaching? Where does the humbleness? Where does showing that youth and let me explain what not doing those things, not chastising, not being able to reprimand in the proper way, not the way that the Justice Department feels as though it should be, but the way that it actually should be. Now, in cases of abuse or something, yes, you handle that entity the way that you should. But for everybody in the world to sit back and let our youth do as they please, then I'm totally against some of these policies, and somebody needs to say something and fix it. Again, I do understand when we have youth that are being abused in the home. Then I'm talking about physical abuse in the home. Physically abused in the home. That's what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about that. Then you apply these rules to those people. But for everybody to have in the work facility, to have this policy of basically stand down, sit back, and watch them mess their whole life up. And then when and if you dare to defend yourself or show up in your authority at the job, especially at the jobs, now they don't want you there no more because you're stern, because you are who you are. And I pray that there's a whole bunch more people. I hope that there's a lot of people out there that actually understand what I'm saying. Now, I'm old school, you know what I'm saying? So I'm older, and when I was younger, I was older. I always had an old soul. That's what I was told. So I believe in discipline. You don't have to put your hands on a child to discipline them in the way the way that they should be disciplined. The Justice Center has made it. And I don't know what it's called in anyone else's city, town, state. I don't know what it's called there. I just know what it's called in our area. New York State. So I don't. Again, it's a hit and a miss. It's a hit and a miss. And I'm explaining what I said when I said that. It's a hit on the family, and it's a miss because the child's gone. They running away. They leaving home on their own because the Justice Department, Justice Center can't say nothing. They gonna protect me from wanting to be with that boy at 13. The Justice Center is going to help me get up out my mother's house if I just cause enough chaos anyway. She can't do nothing because they taught me how to pick up the phone endow something, and now the Justice Center and child protectors is all involved because that child just wanted to be fresh at that moment where she needed discipline to make her understand you're not ready for that. You're not ready for that. You know, and that be that. It should have never been to the point of where our children were able to dial 911 when getting a spanking, or being disciplined, because whooping a child and beating the hell out of them is totally different from giving them a spanking and explaining to them, I did this because I love you and I don't want you to be A, B, C, and D. I want you to have an education. I want you to be somebody. I want you to grow up and look back at everything that was instilled in you so that you can be the person that you're supposed to be. You know, these are the values. There's a lot of parents out here that have good values, but there's and have two family homes. There's parents, two parents in the home. I apologize. Two parents in the home. And some only have a mother in the home. With these things here, maybe a boyfriend there or whatever, but just mommy there, not the daddy. And here it is, your sons are growing up, they getting taller, they getting bigger. You know, they're growing. And now they stepping out of pocket. That part right there, I'm gonna go into another topic on, maybe part 2 of this. There's no way this should have happened, and it should not be going this far. They're taking the rights away from us as parents to give to who? To give to who? Because the system itself cannot handle this generation of children. I'm going to say that one more time. The system itself cannot handle this generation of children. We do not want our babies growing up to go to jail. We do not want our babies out here in the street killing each other. We do not want our babies feeling comfortable enough to be out all night and then come in and talk disrespectfully to the parent. Where in God's name has anybody ever looked around and said, I'm going to stand up and say something? We never said anything. We just talked to each other about this. We never addressed the real issue. The real issue is not everybody, every home, every group home, every detention center. It's not. It's the people that did what they did and the people that was allowing these things to happen to be reprimanded. It was those people. So my thing is, your focus in these rules and these tightnesses should be on those people if you're going to keep them or allow them to still do their job. If not, then the thorough investigation of the person is definitely necessary. That should have been going on from the gate. That should have been going on from the gate. They turn around and investigate people that want jobs in this type of field and turn around and more than qualified, but they don't want you. You heard, or you was said, she's stern. Because I am. I speak and I say, when I meet a youth, I want respect. To them, I'm Miss Stacy. At all times. To my nieces and nephews, I'm Auntie. At all times. The respect level of what is going on is crazy. And we want to know why our children are out of control. Our children are not out of control because, and they want to blame the parent. You want to blame two parents. You want to blame the single mother. You want to, in some cases, it's like that. Yes. And I'm not taking away from that. I'll be less than me to say that's the truth. What I'm saying is, this is a mess. It's a mess. Things in the world is a mess. And we have got to man up, girl up, gather up, get together, and we have to make a change. Because if the Justice Center, in whatever it's called in your city or your state, that deal with our youth, that make the laws and the rules and the regulations, don't let up just some, everybody at their job just going to be laying back because the kids is running all over you. And they're allowed to, and they know it. You begin to know things and get sarcastic a little bit, knowledgeable a little bit around the age of 7, 6, 7, 8. You catching on. So when you get to be 14, you got it down. Let's remember when we were young. When we were young, we matured so fast in our generation. We matured so quickly. And when we matured with, if we fell down, we got up. We were strong. We was more independent, moving around, doing things with, if you had children. When you are at a certain age, you clearly understand what you're doing. So when you are bringing a youth into a facility, have it be a group home, have it be residential, detention, wherever you're bringing a youth to, there is no way possible that you can possibly tell me that that youth could really be telling the truth about whatever it is. And it's never ever looked at. Because if you don't teach the youth responsibility and taking ownership for what they do and do not do in this life, it's going to continue to go the way that it's going. And look, I know it's so bananas right now. It's bananas right now when you got 13-year-olds walking around with guns. 12-year-olds walking around with guns. 12? You're 2 years away from 10. But it's happening. And then, yes, there's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of places that they can go to, this, that, and the third. But what I'm saying is, why ain't nobody really looking at this like this? It's good to have, a detention center, placement places, because, some kids are just automatically hard-headed, I guess, Yes, for the most part, yes. But where is it that when do we begin to get our authority back to where we can then guide the youth in the right direction? It's like you want us to guide them in the right direction all the way through all the foolery and all the extras, all the stuff that y'all keep putting in to these policies about the youth and about the families and how they should be at the job and all the things that you have to do when you're, working, and all that you have to endure, and all the things that you, need to, how do I say it? Need to, need to address certain situations, and you have to sit there humbly and not even care about it. That's the part for me. That's the part for me. I'm not understanding how anybody can't see this and has not brought this situation to surface. I don't get it. This is so important, and I really wish I get some feedback on this. This is part one though, but I really do, because I'm trying to tell you, this is I just need people to understand that us getting hit on jobs and spit at on jobs and kids stabbing us in the hands it wouldn't be this way. It wouldn't go down if the Justice Center would stop it and take a look. Again, you cannot base every facility and every place and everything on what happened at A and B's facility or detention center, right? Because y'all are doing thorough investigations to the point where you all in everybody's business just to get into the job. That's fine, because that's what any job chooses to do. Background checks and all that stuff. What I'm saying is, when you get in, how you learn to teach them? How can you guide them? How do you recommend them? What are we teaching them? What are we showing them? How are we really, really effectively helping the youth? That's all I want to know. Where are we effectively helping the youth at? When everybody knows that the Justice Center is doing the most in every way possible. They've been doing the most for years. And it's now to the point where when do we stop and look around and say enough is enough and come together so that we can sit and explain to the Justice Department and the Justice Center that we cannot effectively work with these children and do effective jobs if we can't even reprimand our youth in a natural, loving, motherly, fatherly, or whatever way. So what's the solution? The solution to me, I'm trying to come up with a solution, but it takes a village to do that. So when you ask me what the solution is every bit of what I spoke about. And that is everybody coming together. Nobody's writing letters. Nobody's coming together. Nobody wants to do anything about this, but it needs to be addressed. They need to pull back just a little. I'm not saying take your rules and regulations away from everything. That would be stupid and senseless. You have to have a plan. You have to have rules. So I get it. But when you make the rules so to the point where no one knows where their children are anymore, and they don't have to know, because things are, because of a job, or because of they told their friend about these runaway shelters. A lot of times, and I know at that moment in time when we dealing with a child, they come in, we do their intake, we listen to them, we hear them out, we ask them their age, the year that they're born. Again, a child knows how to be trickery starting around 6 years old. And if you are working for the Justice Center and you have no youth, you have no children, these rules should not apply this hard. You have got to stand back and look at what's happening. They become institutionalized. They become institutionalized. From there, group homes, if it was just a group home and that child was acting out in a way, I understand if a child is mentally disturbed. They have a psychiatrist or someone to actually deal with that. And if they had to come to the facility or whatever the case, that's a whole different case. We're talking about the way that they are handling different situations. We don't have a grip on our children anymore. Our kids will come out their mouth and say just about anything. And I'm not going to just blame it on the generation. That would be crazy to do. I'm not going to just blame it on, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no excuse for any child to ever be disrespectful to their mother, to their father. It's a walk away game, but it's not being instilled in them anymore. It's being instilled that they can run over us and do what they want to do. So, you know, and they can talk crazy to us. And again, this started a long time ago, so I'm not making this type of stuff up. I'm not making this type of stuff up. This stuff is real live and in our face. So, you know, I have my thoughts. You have your thoughts. This is called Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. So, you know, maybe on part 2, you know, that we can, you know, pretty much talk about this topic real bad. You know, it's not a pretty situation out there. I feel bad for a lot of places that, let's say, have youth in it. I feel bad for the youth that are crying out for discipline. They want somebody to care. They want somebody to show them some sternness. They want somebody to act and really love them. See, you guys have it all twisted and think that the way that you're doing it, or the way that we have to do it now, is the way that we show them love. You know, it's great to have, you know, mentors. You should have that anyway. You know, you know, and that's why they have to have more mentorship programs, right? Things for our youth to get into. But see, with all these policies and rules and regulations, that is truly, in my opinion, hurting the youth. But I would like to hear from others and hear their opinion as well. You know, because I may have said something that someone else feels as though it's totally wrong. No, but it you know, like I said, it's for me, it's a no. If we had more control, if this didn't start, it started, and then now it led all the way into the jobs. And I do, again, understand that there was a lot of reasons why they did that, and they have every right to do that, and they should have. For that over there, not for the whole world. Everybody is not like that. But if you don't let us be grown to these children, if you don't let us be adults to these children, if you don't let us show them that there is rules and regulations and you have to honor, if you don't let us show them that there is rules and regulations and You have to honor. If you don't let us show them that there is a root. Okay, so I'm not understanding how this is playing in my ear, but I'm sorry. I just heard a feedback and all in my ear. That's weird. I don't know if I hit the wrong button or what. But again, the Justice Center, the Justice Department, wherever you are, whatever county, whatever city, wherever you live, it's like they have overstepped in so many ways, undermining the adults, because now Sue could sit in my face and say what she want. Donald could sit in my face and say what he want. No, see, they're supposed to be able to express. That's what mentoring is. Helping them to develop the power that's inside of them, opposed to lacking in all areas, because without us teaching them, and if they're so bossy and control, disrespectful, and that we can't even teach them as teachers, we can't teach them as for anything. We can't teach them because your rules are allowing them to do exactly what they want to do. No, you're wrong. The Justice Center, you're wrong. And you're not right. You're wrong. Because there's no way that I can guide any youth that feels more comfortable with cursing me out than me being effective to that youth. Anything that I try to teach that youth is no longer willing to want to learn, and knows that they don't have to, because the Justice Center has their back. No. You know, and then when we sit back and we see it, and you know, we got to deal with it. We are human too. And if we don't, and in our homes, if we don't have, who's bigger than justice? Of course, the problem is bigger than just the Justice Center. Of course it is. I don't know if my mic is working or if I can hear it, but of course it is. Of course it is. You know, and yes, it is bigger than the Justice Center. However, what I'm trying to say is, if they do not let up some, we will not be able to effectively affect and change the youth. Right? So here it is, you know, I'm gonna put myself in some of these places. Here I am. I have my shelter. My shelter is for 18-year-olds and up. Or let's go down. Let's go down to 10, maybe 10 or 11 years old to maybe 17 or so. Let's say that. That child comes in, you know, nurtured. You're doing thorough backgrounds on people when you do hiring. You're doing a thorough background on people, supposedly anyway, when you have your own business, especially for the youth. Where or why would you assumingly feel as though that we should not be coming together to address this? Yes, it started a long time ago. The disrespect is horrible, and the generation then it got worse from when I had children. And it's not just them. You know, it goes into your adulthood too when you're being that disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? So, hold on just a minute. What? Excuse me for a second. You know, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not I'm not gonna, like, I've been out here for 35 minutes, but I want to talk a little bit longer, right? And I just want to say that I know how it feels, okay? I know how it feels to not want to make a change, and but I wish that we could come together, and I wish that somebody would answer these questions that I have, because it is a serious thing. It's a serious thing. You know, we've fallen short, and this is why our kids are cursing, doing whatever they want to do at a young age, because nobody can control them anymore. Nobody can control them. In my time, the neighbor could control. A neighbor would get on me. Anybody, because it was like that. Now everybody's all to themselves. Don't want to stand up for what's right. Don't want to really help the youth. Because without proper guidance, and I'm going to say that again, without proper guidance, love, compassion, it's not going to happen. And I don't understand why everybody feels like, this is not something that they should address. It's very much so something that should be looked at and addressed. I'm saying this for everybody, wherever you are. I'm saying that the uplift or the strain, I'm going to say it in these terms, okay, that the Justice Center, are they? That really was a question. I gave you my opinion. I just wanted to know, was the Justice Center fair to our youth, our families? And have they overstepped in ways that undermine effective guidance? That's all I really was saying. Because what I just spoke about, it really is true. They have, and everybody's so afraid of losing their jobs. And people that see all these different things, instead of coming together, because mentorships is better. I'm going to tell you that for a fact, because if I had a big sister, right, you know what I'm saying, and I was the oldest sister, but if I had a big sister, and that's sometimes in mentoring, that's what comes along with it. You get a big sister, or a mama, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I know mommy home, but this woman right here was good. I like going over there. I like doing that. You need to be able to address that youth. When that youth is puffed up their chest, you should be able to puff up your chest even harder. You should not have to stand there and allow any youth to spit in your face, smack you around, do whatever, damn near kill you. And you better not do nothing. No. If y'all don't come together on this, if we all don't speak about this, because like I said, this is part one. This is only part one. So I know, a lot of people may not have seen it, but if you do see the replay, or if you see it up there, I would appreciate it if you would answer some question, if you would answer this whole question that was before your face. Seriously. Because it's now to a point where the guns have become their pencils and pens. No books, pencils and pens and games. That's a whole nother topic. You know, we are looking for, and again, without authority, without proper authority, along with rules and regulations, and teaching and guiding them, this is what you have to do. This is what has to get done. Just like y'all never changed the time on school. It's always been just in the morning. Until, you know, until they build something that maybe you can go to an after school program or whatever. That took a while. No one never asked the question, was that effective for the youth? Nobody ever asked the question, was getting up in the morning or just having that one, you get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that you can't say you can't change. Are we if we come together, we can't make a difference, or we can't effectively just explain. And the reason why I'm sticking to the Justice Center, because this topic is about them. The part 2 is going to be a little longer about something else pertaining to the youth. I'm speaking to them and hoping that somebody else can share this video on Shout It Out, Let's Talk About It. And you know, I would appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, because we need to speak about this. You know, we're out here speaking about everything else, doing everything else, but we're not talking to the people that in our different states, cities, you know, all over. If you're not called, I don't know your names, if you're not called the Justice Center, here, this is for the youth, you know, and fosters, and, you know, foster care. See, y'all will take the children from the home and put them somewhere without doing investigation. That should have been, y'all should have got rules, and you guys should have been reprimanded with harsh rules, because you should have investigated those people way better than you did. And so now you turn around and make the whole world have to pay for some things that y'all did. Y'all put the system, you know, OCF and the Justice Center. You guys did that. So y'all creating rules for the wrong thing. What you should be saying is, now again, some of your rules are right, and everybody has to have rules. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about the fact that how do we grasp onto the youth now? The ones that are out there already doing what they're doing, or whatever the case may be, prayerfully they end up seeing this too. But at the end of the day, they're going to have children one day. And then the same thing that they do to their children, do to their parent or their mother, because the Justice Center felt the need to make all these rules and regulations. And I'm not saying don't have rules and regulations. I'm talking about the rules and regulations to where now our children are disrespecting us. Okay, now those ones that are being disrespectful, and I'm talking about all of them, because I'm out here wanting to work with all the children, so it doesn't matter. I'm speaking about now what the Department of Justice. What do we do with the young ones coming up now? What do we do with them? Because the ones that you let slip through your finger, we're trying to fix them with mentorship programs and all kinds of different things, and, you know, unifying together with all the organizations that's out here. But what are you doing to the youth and the families in real life? Do you realize that since all this have gone into effect, 2007, 2006, 2005. Here we go. When everybody felt comfortable with calling 911 all of a sudden, I'm like, what? And I've seen it done. It didn't happen in my house. You know what I'm saying? They ain't call 911. But I tell you one thing, they was listening to the streets talking. You know, you could disrespect your mother or your father and this, that, and the third, or you can call 911. Because that's the way, like I said, a child started getting trickery around the age of 6 or 7. And I know that for a fact. My grandson is right here and he's doing it in front of me. And I remember we all at one time was children. So the young youth that's coming up, with these rules that y'all got in place in these schools and in these group homes and in these facilities and in these detention centers, you need to go and take a look at what it's really doing to the youth. You're doing thorough checks, supposedly, right, on a person if they're abusive and all this other stuff. If they got, you do all this background check. That's what y'all do. You do all this background check just to hire somebody that really don't even know how to handle the situation. And how can they? When you got a youth standing up in their doggone face and stuff like that, standing in their face, talking crazy and everything. No. We have got to catch these youth while they're young. You have destroyed this generation, the whole system. You have destroyed this generation. That doesn't have anything, and I'm sorry if anybody feels any different about what I'm saying, but I'm telling you what it is. Because again, it was abuse. People were being abusive. This and that was happening. However, deal with them. Those rules should apply to them. And the rules should apply to you for putting that youth in a situation in a foster home without doing thorough background on somebody because they got a foster care license. And so you just send them over there. And then you don't know what that child is feeling or anything because you don't have that child. Y'all not doing your job. You're just only catching the child and dropping the child off. You're not saying, okay, we have it. You guys should have went and built something or something. You just putting them in the homes of rapists, killers, molesters, and then now you want to penalize. So no, you should have been penalized. You don't penalize everybody to the point where, like I said, now 12 and 13-year-olds is walking around with guns. Why? Because the lack of discipline, period. Because discipline is in all forms. It's not just hitting a child, yo. And y'all allow kids to pick the phone up and call y'all and call somebody to get the heck out the house because their mother put them on punishment because they can't use the game because their grades is bad. Now they out here telling stories on their mother or their father. Oh, they beat me. They did this. Why? Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend in these young group homes. And then you're allowed to come there and disrespect the staff. And then when you have somebody strong enough to stand up and say, my name is Miss Stacy. These are the rules and the regulations. And if you don't follow the rules and regulations, you get the strike, you get the rules given to the youth. And that youth is following that because that stern one addressed it, explained it, read their whole thing to them and their rights because they have rights. And I had to let them know you got rights. Has nothing to do with what's going on. There is not a person in these facilities that can facilitate or turn around and change, make real change to any of these youth if you don't allow them to do it. The Justice Department has turned around and made this happen. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Especially on jobs. Especially, it is so hard on jobs. When we want to be effective, We want to allow the child to know they're loved, you know, and in that moment of letting them know that they're loved, getting closer to them, trust, so where they can trust you. I've never had a problem with a youth trusting me. I may have, only thing that may have been is when you are at a job and you're being disrespectfully speaking wrongly in front of the youth about that staff, that would change the mind of a child. That is the only way a youth could be different towards you, because they overheard an adult speaking about you. When a youth overhear someone at a job site speaking about you, then they change because they're trickery. See, we supposed to be tricked. Let me see what this comment said. Exactly. Some of them have gone overboard, and no, I like that. Some of them have gone overboard in the facilities, and that may be why. No, you don't have to. You don't have to be that. I'm asking this. I'm asking for people to come together to ask them to let up a little bit and let us be adults and have authority for at least the youth that's coming up. Because with the ones that, the damage that they did to this generation, I'm sorry, they can. We need a change in our children to teach them the right way to go. We need that, you know. And if you're hard-headed as a young person, remember Justice Department, Justice Center all over the world. You guys were young too before. Now, don't act like you didn't have no sneakiness in you, because a lot of youth are sneaky. Yes, God knows, protect all those who are being abused for real, who is really being abused. I respect all of that, because I would do the same thing. But when you're not allowing the jobs to do what they have to do, it's not effective. What's happening is that it's affecting the staff, and not in a good way. It's affecting the school teachers, and not in a good way. It's affecting everyone around. Now your child now your child can't get no learning going on. Now the teacher too afraid to even teach this youth. I'm going to answer this question right here. And it said, keep in mind that that just like in prisons, there are racist people who get these jobs just to exercise their racist tendencies. I like that. So what Jamel just said was accurate and was truly going on. In the prison system, there are racist people who get these jobs just to exercise their racist tendencies. Okay. And that's so true. That's the biggest problem. The biggest problem, that's one of the biggest problems. See, if we want to talk about our brown and our black babies, and our tan, and our light. And I'm not going to call you white, so I call you lights. Okay? But mainly our brown and black babies. You know, these people do. For that, I understand. You're running around here doing background checks, but what kind of background checks are you really doing when you have prejudiceness going on so bad in the system all the way around the board that our child is now being mistreated because of the color of his skin when he didn't have to be there? But you're not, but you're not over there putting those rules in there. You're not putting these rules in there for that particular place that's doing that. See, like I said, I don't feel like the whole world should have it so tight. I don't think the whole world should have had it so tight. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not my okay, let's see. Sorry. Not that great at this, so I really don't know how to take the comment down. Oh, junk. I'm learning. Yeah. I don't know how to take the comment down. But anyway, I'm learning, and I'm not going to keep anybody too much longer. I really had a lot more that I wanted to say, and this is why I called it part one. If I can get it back up there, I will be so grateful to God. I call myself trying to be professional and all that. You know what I mean? Man. So anyway, I appreciate you, Jamel, my husband, my best friend, my enemy sometimes, but my best friend in real life. My best male friend. My best friend is a girl. But he's my best friend, for real. And I appreciate everything that he's doing. He's out here working in the community with youth. That's a whole nother topic, man. We're gonna get on that. But back to what I was saying, and I really wish I can put my yeah. So there we go. See, I'm getting it. You see what I'm saying? So if we keep in mind that a part of what has happened is all, I don't know if it's the government or what's going on here, but if the Justice Center and wherever you call it, where you are in Atlanta or whatever you call it, whatever yours is called, if they don't pull back just a little, because I don't know, in New York State, let me just say this, in New York State, they're doing that. I don't know how any place else is with, their Justice Department, but I'm telling you for a fact, they need to pull back a little bit and drop some of that stuff and stop trying to look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. And they really should look at the ones that have been there the longest, because if they have done anything, just a moment. Okay. If they have done anything at all, if anybody hears this, if anybody sees this, my name is Stacy. I do appreciate you listening. And if you can subscribe, and share on my Facebook, on my YouTube, which is Shout It Out, Let's Talk About It, I would greatly appreciate it. But this is just part one. I thank you so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and you have a blessed night. Thank you.